All right, guys. So we're discussing history and culture of Pakistan, May, June 2021. And this is section B. In the previous video, you must have watched our discussion on section A and all the compulsory questions. Section B is the part where you have to attempt any two questions from the section. Two questions, that means any two sets of questions. Two, three, four, and five. These are four questions here, and you have to select any two. For this discussion, we're picking up question number two, first of all, this one, and we'll pick up the second set over here, that is question number, third set, sorry, that is question number four. So we'll be discussing these two questions here. The first one is describe the achievements of Ranjit Singh. Now, achievements of Ranjit Singh, this question is particularly from section number one, that is annexation of British in Punjab and Sindh. I'm going to display the notes that I used to discuss answers. East India Company is the topic, and you'll see a lot about Ranjit Singh in these particular questions, where it's all about British annexation of Sindh, Punjab, conquering different areas of India. So when we talk about Ranjit Singh, we can essentially, because it's a 4 mark question, you just have to write any 4 points with this one. So you can talk about his powerful rule in Punjab, right? And you can talk about how during his tenure, the British didn't dare to conquer Punjab, and the annexation was done after Ranjit Singh died. So he was an extremely influential ruler of Punjab, and you can talk about any two more achievements of that sort. We'll straight jump on to part B, that is the 7 mark question. Explain why Muhammad Ali Jinnah chose Urdu as the national language of Pakistan. For this one, you need to write three reasons as to why Urdu was chosen as the national language. If you look at this particular tab, here's the answer for this question. Mm. So, for Urdu being chosen as the national language of Pakistan, you need to talk about the first reason, that is, it was widely used in the Mughal period, and it dated back to the Sultans of Delhi as well. It was used in the subcontinent for a long, long time. It was widely understood, widely spoken. It was natural that such a language that was so widely understood had to be chosen as a national language. This was one reason. Number two, the second reason why Urdu was chosen national language was because of its high status. A lot of the poets like Amir Khusro had written their poetries in Urdu. Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan's school at Aligarh became a center for Urdu education. A lot of religious books were written in Urdu. Quran was also translated into Urdu, right? So these were this presence of rich literature, presence of poetry, presence of literary masterpieces in Urdu became a reason for this language being chosen as a national language. And the third reason why Urdu was chosen as national language was because of its association with Pakistan movement. Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan, so I'm reading out this reason here. Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan had supported this language, and it was formed not only to defend the interests of Muslims, but also to protect the Muslim League. Formation of Muslim League was done to even protect Urdu, right? If you remember Sir Syed Ahmed Khan's two nation theory, he also talked about Urdu becoming the national language. The Urdu Hindi controversy was like it was a very notable event during the time of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan. So this was, see, its close association to Pakistan movement, its close association to the identity of Pakistan, and the important movements or important works that were being done by leaders of Pakistan like Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, Jinnah, became a reason for this language being chosen as the national language of Pakistan. All right. So with every reason that you write for this answer, you need to obviously write down your analysis as well. And your analysis is basically how you support your reasons, how you develop a consequence for your reasons, answering this question that's asked. Part C. The work of Shah Waliullah was the main factor contributing to the spread of Islam between 1700 to 1850. This question here. How far do you agree with the statement? Now, this question is asking about the work of religious thinkers. This is from section one, religious thinkers. And there's this saying, Shah Waliullah's work was the main factor contributing to the spread of Islam. Do you agree with the statement? So obviously you have to write your answer with respect to the three religious scholars that you study in your syllabus, Shah Waliullah, Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly, and Haji Shayatullah. You have to write down reasons with respect to these three religious scholars. But obviously you'll be starting your answer with Shah Waliullah because this is what they've mentioned in the question. So your level three has to be Shah Waliullah. Let me show you the reasons as well, the answer for this one. Um, yeah, okay. Shah Waliullah, we're going to be looking at a question that talks about the work of Shah Waliullah. Um, yeah, was Shah Waliullah the most important factor for the revival of Islam in the subcontinent? The contributions, right? So now this is just one question that is about Shah Waliullah. But there will be a lot of questions that talk about Haji Shariatullah as well, Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly as well, right? Let me show you some example if I can find any in these notes. Okay, no, there are other 7 mark questions though. So let's pick up the 7 mark questions. Think about the work. Hold on. Yeah, how important was Shah Waliullah? So because okay, now if you think Shah Waliullah had the most important role in the revival of Islam, so you're gonna be writing 3 reasons for Shah Waliullah, right? 2 reasons for Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly and two for Haji Shariatullah. Total of 7 reasons altogether. And then you will write one evaluation at the end. Now, if some of you may think that no, Shah Waliullah's work wasn't important, it was Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly. So you're going to be making 2 reasons for Shah Waliullah, 3 for Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly, and 2 for Haji Shariatullah. And then evaluation at the end. And then if some of you may think that no, Haji Shariatullah was most important, so you'll be writing 2 reasons for Shah Waliullah, 2 for Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly, and 3 for Haji Shariatullah. And then one evaluation at the end. This is the structure that you're supposed to follow for this question. Okay. So I'm gonna assume that we're agreeing with Chavaluda as the most important factor. Okay. So we'll pick up this format. 3, 2, and 2. So we'll be writing 3 reasons for Shavalullah's importance, 2 reasons why Shaykh Ahmed Birili was important, and 2 reasons why Haji Sajjadullah was important. Okay. So let me clear this off. So the work of Shah Waliullah. Let's look at the work of Shah Waliullah here. You can talk about the first contribution that was the 51 books he wrote, right? 51 books which were about Islam. He wrote books on 4 rightly guided caliphs as well that were acceptable to both Shias and Sunnis. He wrote Hijjatul al-Baligha about Islamic principles, Zatul Akhwa about Islamic jurisprudence, and this work became a basis for future research. And that is why it was important. Okay, so whatever contribution you write, you need to also explain why do you think that contribution was important? Why do you think him writing these books was important for Islam? Because of these books acting as a basis for future research. This is one reason. Then the second reason you can write about the translation of Quran. He translated the Holy Quran into Persian. Persian was basically was a widely understood language, right? So the Quran in Persian was now understandable for a lot of more people. It was accessible for so many more people, right? So so yeah, because Quran became more accessible to a lot of more people who could now read it, who could now understand it. Um, this this became a reason for unity. This became an important factor that united the Muslims and made it easier for them to understand the holy book. And hence, this is why you can say it was an important contribution. You can also talk about how he made attempts to stop the decline of Mughal Empire. He was very much vocal about how the Mughals had become pleasure seeking, how they were just fighting for the throne, the non-Muslim enemies were taking advantage of that. this, right? He his basic his writings on these particular events and his recognition of the decline of, of the decline of Mughal Empire became another reason that contributed to his success as a religious scholar, and his attempts basically were you just talk about the efforts, because obviously the Mughal Empire did decline at the end, right? But you're going to be talking about the efforts Shah Waliullah made, right? And the efforts that were made by him were already, you could say, a factor that added to his success as a religious scholar, the importance of him as a religious scholar, right? So this is how you'll be writing three reasons for Shaulila. Now, you'll transition by writing a statement that there were other religious scholars as well who had a great influence. For example, Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Barelvi. Now, you see, you can pick up any two reasons, any two factors from Sayyid Ahmad Barelvi now. For example, the first one, his jihad movement, right? You'll talk about how the Muslims in Punjab are under the cruel rule of Raja Ranjit Singh. They could not practice religious obligations freely. Azan was also banned in some of the areas. So Sayyid Ahmed Bareilly thought that the armed struggle would be important to liberate the Muslims of this tyrannical rule. And in that jihad movement, although he defeated the sects, but the movement, he was defeated by the sects, but this movement itself showed that they were struggling to free the Muslims of these un-Islamic principles, of this un-Islamic government that was imposed on them. And it was an effort to basically let the Muslims live freely according to the principles of Islam. So this this could be written as an importance of the work of Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly. Then you can also talk about how Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Bareilvi was proved to be an important figure for the as a forerunner of Pakistan movement. I'm talking about the third reason here in this question. This one, if you can see on your screens, this one here, forerunner to the Pakistan movement. All right. His efforts proved to be an inspiration to all the Muslims to protect the religion and culture. Both the Jihad and Pakistan movement were formed to free Muslims from non-Muslim rule and were similar. Also, Sayyid Ahmed gave example to later Muslims for defending Islam, therefore proved to be very important in the revival of Islam. So why was his inspiration or his role as a figure of inspiration important? Because he became an example for all the Muslims to come, all the future Muslims, um, as someone who basically asked the Muslims to uprise against the non-Muslim oppressors through armed struggle, right? So him being a role model was an important reason. And then once you've written two reasons for Sayyid Ahmed Barelvi as well, you will be writing down factors for Haji Shayatullah. You'll say, okay, Haji Shayatullah was another religious thinker who was an important figure at that time. Why? Because of his Faraizi movement. The Muslim farmers in East Bengal could not follow Islamic obligations due to Hindu zamindars. Haji Shariatullah formed the Faraizi movement to ensure that Muslims strictly follow their religious obligations. And by doing so, he made sure that the Muslims follow Islam according to true spirit. Now, why was the Faraizi movement important? You see, this is the analysis that he made sure that the Muslims follow Islam according to true spirit, to understand the value of faraiz and the value of obligations upon Muslims, right? The responsibility as a Muslim. So this is why he was important. And then he was also important because he worked for the Muslim peasants who were under the Hindu zamindars. And there were a lot of un-Islamic practices that are trapped into the Islamic society. He warned the Muslims about these fake beliefs, also warned them to keep away from these practices, right? So he purified Islam this way by warning the Muslims, by as by uprising with the poor Muslim farmers, by teaching the poor Muslim farmers to uprise against the cruel Hindu zamindars who were just sort of trying to impose their influence over the poor farmers, right? So why was he important? Because he purified Islam and proved to be an important personality in its revival. Okay? A lot of Muslim farmers that did recognize the importance of the suppression about the importance of uprising against the oppressors, right? So all of this became, you see, now we've written three 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 reasons, three paragraphs for Shaulullah, we've written two paragraphs and two reasons for Sayyid Barelvi, and we've written two reasons and two paragraphs for Haji Shariatullah. This is how you've answered seven reasons for this question, and then you can write one evaluation at the end. Your evaluation will be in agreement with one of these three religious scholars as the most important. Now, since you've made as if let's say you've answered it as per the method that I've explained here in the video, you've written three paragraphs and three reasons for Shah Waliullah. So obviously your evaluation would clearly agree with Shah Waliullah as the most important personality in the revival of Islam. And obviously, your ratios of writing the reasons they clearly indicate that you're writing more for him. So definitely, he has the most influence. But then you'll be summarizing your points in just like one paragraph at the end, in form of an evaluation, and you'll be like, okay, this is the main reason. I hope the format of this 14 mark, 7 mark, and 4 mark questions is clear to all of you. This is how you'll be attempting another set from this paper as well. Um, Two questions from section B, that is the requirement. And I'll be explaining another set, this fourth question here, the 4, 7, 14 mark questions from the fourth question in the next video.